Welcome back to Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Now, if you'd like to send us a message on WhatsApp, you can do that very easily. Just dial 0204 447 033. And on social media, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Now, one of the best things that happened over the weekend, at least in my area, was the rain. We finally got some rainfall. Now, I know not everybody experienced it, and we were so excited. It washed away some of the Hamatan dust, right? But in some areas of the country, rainfall means havoc, especially when there's a poor drainage system, okay? So we're going to take a trip to the Bono region, where users of the Bono Regional Hospital Traffic Light Road are really urging authorities to rectify a problem there. There's a section of the road that's been eaten up by erosion. It's exposing pedestrians and other people, especially children, to danger. Now, despite the defect, heavy vehicles are continuing to use this stretch. This could obviously compound the problem, so they're really appealing for help here. Let's take a look at this report.
Poor drainage system on the stretch. Erosion has eaten up a portion of the Bono Regional Hospital traffic light stretch to the Danabosoma market, close to the livestock market in Sunyani, exposing pedestrians, especially children, to danger, as they could fall into the hole created by the erosion. The erosion has also affected the metal barricade that serves as a protection for vehicles and pedestrians. The drainage at the place is not working, thus allowing water to wash away the soil anytime it rains. More worrying is that the stretch is one of the busiest roads in the Sunyani municipality. Vehicles from Brekum, Domai Nkru, and Drobo, who usually avoid the central business uses of Sunyani, usually use this road. Users of the road are thus urging the authorities to act swiftly to prevent any disaster from happening at that portion of the road.
Debia say ya omade say ya kwa no ano say ya debia yebehun say debia so kwa nyina na enyi ne kwa nanim nso na twanti akaba na nka adide akokwan ho nti se bi sre MC ne Ghana payinfo o mo hwe we nye ye o ye menika ba abia na menua na me bra ono ana wonderful so na mo na di anim no onu betima suma ne driver na o de ka ba be wuram.
Yo, where the empire for the American say, yes, Rawomo. Yan tram may be in science. And Mofrana, your post school bar. Baby, or Mudi America, you are more for Mudi America, or Mudi Bida Ho. Auntie, Yanni Baba Sono, Nancolano, America, baby, or dear Gorabo, and Limisa one in yet. I'm trying to never ban a sonana, Acolana, a diabetuno. Nti edu sana na me ehimit preocupe nti me srampan fo kakra me wa kana say o mo be o mo ntwa ma bibi nsi ansa na nsuo no kura agya no tuturu an nti na ho no aya ayi kakra na say nya say nsuo no agya yanka didi kwa ka adi atokwan mu ho kora
okay dey me ka say o momodi nye because bebe won ni papa ho kora so school for so fa ho Castle so far. I
asked the municipal chief executive for Sunyani East municipality, Ansukumi, what his outfit is doing about the situation.
You know, yes, we have identified that defect. That is when you are getting to the Latter-day Saints Church on your left. There is such a defect there that has been brought to the notice of the municipal urban roads engineer. But we have had a lengthy discussion on that. And fortunately, there is one secondary city project which no time will begin. And that has to do with a storm drain that was started way back during President Kufuor's time. They constructed the storm drain up to a certain point. But we have added it to our secondary city project for this particular year, and that is part of the UDG 3. And so the explanation was that once we begin that project, it will help to correct that defect. And fortunately, it will not be so long when we then begin the process, procurement process to kickstart that project. And so when that happens, I believe that we'll be able to have that particular defect corrected.
All right, so that was a report on the erosion that is greatly affecting this particular road in Sunyani and the danger that it's posing to users of the road. And as you could hear from residents who were interviewed, they don't want to wait for disaster to strike before the problem is fixed. They want it to be addressed now. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk to the MCE a bit more to expand on his comments that he made in the report. But, you know, we've seen the issue, right? I think let's talk to him first. Looks like we've got him online. His name is Ansu Kumi, he's the MCE for Sunyani East Municipality. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. All right. Look, yes, it looks like you have quite a problem on your hands with regards to this erosion affecting this major road in your municipality. But talk to us about when this first came to your attention. I mean, from what we've seen in the report, this didn't happen in a day or a week or even a month or probably even a year. It looks like it's damage that has occurred over time. So just give us a bit of history as to how this started and what efforts have been made so far.
Okay. Good morning to your excellence of viewers. Yes, it is true that this defect did not happen just a day. I quite remember it was even there before I assumed it as a municipal secretary. However, the assembly on its own had plans for correcting that defect. Even at the time that I was an assembly member, it came to our attention. We also drew the attention of the regional urban roads, and that has also been captured by the regional urban roads. You know, the assembly on its own does not have that financial capacity to be able to correct the defect, even the meter of it. So what the assembly planned doing was that, you know, we fortunately, Ghana government and that of the World Bank has a program in place which we refer to as the Ghana Secondary City Support Program. And that at least brings out some money which would intend to at least help correct that defect. So currently what we have done is that we have a reinforced concrete storm drain around that area, which we refer to as the Akimu. There is also a stream there called J. So we have a box which is close to where the defect has occurred. So thankfully, that project is about kick. And once we begin that particular project, we can take advantage of it and correct it. Even though we have not started it, it becomes the case that the regional urban roads is able to mobilize funds earlier than our case. Perhaps regional urban roads can also take care of that. But we have plans for it, and we believe that we'll be able to have it corrected, as you have seen.
Mr. Kumi, give us an idea, since, as you said, it came to your attention when you were assembly member, now you're the MCE, and it looks as though it's on the desks of anyone who is in charge of, you know, maintaining a road, right? So you must have a sense of what the costs would involve for fixing this. Could you give us an idea?
Unfortunately, I might not be able to give how much it will cost offhand. If I should get to the office and get in touch with the regional urban roads, perhaps I will be able to.
Not even an estimate. In all the discussions about this disaster waiting to happen, there's not even an idea, like an estimate, a range of how much it could cost to fix?
And that is what I'm saying, that I might not be able to give you the figure offhand. So when I get to the office, I believe I will be able to provide that information
Okay.
to you.
Mr. Kumi, again, you know, obviously you know how distressing this is. You know how worrying it is because this is such a major stretch of road, one of the
Yes.
busiest roads
Yes.
in your metropolis.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
God forbid, disaster strikes and a portion of the road caves in, which it looks like it's quite close to doing, looking at how the soil underneath it is being eaten up by the erosion, right? God forbid that happens. You've got this major stretch of road that nobody can use. I'm quite sure that people will move in quickly to fix it because you can't afford to not be able to use this road, right? Because of how major it is. Am I right in assuming so? Come again.
That is why I'm saying that we don't anticipate that such a thing will happen before we make an effort to pass the stretch. And so in our attempt in trying to get it done, that is why I'm saying that as assembly we have captured that under the secondary city support project, and hopefully somewhere in March we believe that we might have even started that project. And
March.
so we will get that particular project, project, that defect fixed or corrected. I'm saying that at the same time, the regional urban roads also has plans for it. So the two of us, whichever one that will be ready, here than the other, I believe that that entity will be able to correct that. We know that it is a serious defect, and if steps are not taken early to have it corrected, it might affect the entire road. And that is why for us as an assembly,
right,
we are working very hard to get that thing corrected.
Yes.
You know, in the meantime, once we prepare for it, you know, we have also used the caution tape to cordon off that place. I think that to give a signal to whoever uses that road.
Yes, our cameras have captured. Our cameras have captured that caution tape, but I'm not sure whether or not it has been, you know, reattached. But from what we're seeing from the report, the caution tape has been removed or has fallen off. There's really nothing guarding anybody from falling into this pit. So I don't know. Maybe your engineers can go back to the site and look at it again. Yeah.
Exactly. We will go back. We'll go back and then ensure that at least you're able to, get enough information for whoever is around of such a danger. The advice that somebody has also given is that perhaps in addition to the caution tape, we may also try and put some reflectors there. I mean, just to guard against the possibility of anyone falling into such a trench.
Okay.
It is not something that allowed to remain there for long, because if it's there for long, it might affect the entire bus coverage and then the road as well.
Right.
And so we are working on seriously to have that fixed.
Right. And it would be much more expensive to fix as well once the road. Okay. So as you said, March. So we can check back with you in March to see how things are going.
Hopefully in March you'll see that project. It's likely in March that project will take start. And when that is done, we'll take advantage of that and have it corrected.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Mr. Ansu Kumi is the MCE. He's been very gracious in speaking to us this morning about the situation regarding this particular drainage issue, which is affecting a major road in Sunyani. And so we appreciate your time. Again, he's the MCE for the Sunyani East Municipality.
Yeah.
Kwekudi, he says in March we can check back and by that time they might have or should have started.
And I think as well we should. For us, I think the whole idea of keeping the pressure on duty bearers to make sure that there's no point in time that they relent on their responsibilities. I do understand the challenges of financing and all that, but you know, in Ghana, in one breath we say there's no money, in the other breath we see constructions everywhere. We see, you know, it's you ask yourself, no, when you say there's no money, what do you actually mean?
Yeah, and priority-wise, because again, if God forbid this road caves in at a point, the next day there'll be trucks there. They'll be, they'll be fixing it because it's such a major road. They can't afford to have it crumble. But they're waiting and waiting. Well, he says it's on their radar, it's on the to-do list, so to speak. You know, let's see. But let's just hope that the worst doesn't happen before they move in to fix it. He is saying March. That's the timeline he's giving us. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
If indeed.
Yeah. Look at the footage. Look at the footage there. I mean, it's something that you realize has been, and as you said, has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, and you just see that whatever was done initially wasn't done effectively.
It's so shoddy.
So water that's under the road is now eating away the road, you know, and all of that.
And the road, I mean, obviously I'm not a road engineer, but doesn't it look like it's very thinly asphalted?
The top surface, yes.
Yeah, like there isn't much between road and soil. Like it's just a thin layer. So, I mean, the road itself,
has questions.
It needs some reinforcement, Charlie. But I mean, for residents of Sunyani who ply that road and who are concerned about it, you can see and understand why they're so concerned because it's just a hazard waiting to happen.
Yeah, and you know, Asakumi said that they're going to get indicators, reflectors, and all of that. I think that, I mean, we shouldn't be making that call because the assembly actually knows this already. You know, and knows that as soon as there's a
look at the caution tape
in tow, you know, you've got to have it. And the caution tape, you see, so this is part of my challenge. Part of my challenge is that yes, you put a caution tape initially, but it's torn. What stops you from putting a new one there?
Which means they're not policing the area.
Yes, and then also have proper reflectors, like you know, on either side
and some
of
barricades, something
of this, you know, and then again maybe a reinforced barricade that's temporary, but it's such that
really block it
prevents people from, you know,
slipping in there.
Exactly. You know,
there
are these plastic barricades that are used in town.
Yeah. They
fill them with
sand to make them heavy. It
becomes very, very heavy to move around. I mean, I could just line up about 10 of them over there, just to, you know, and then those ones too can have reflectors on them, so that in the night you can see clearly from a distance that there's something there, you know, because it's just dangerous, man.
It is.
Can you imagine a bus, high capacity bus, you know, falling in there,
or school children walking home, somebody slips. Well, I mean. But again, let's hope it doesn't get there and it is rectified as soon as possible. So we'll see what happens, God willing, in March, if indeed the situation is fixed.
All right.
Okay.
I think we can just take a quick break.
Yeah.
We'll come back and then there's more stories that we have for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the WhatsApp line is 0204-447-033. Hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms. Now, we're going to go to the northern region, specifically an area called Tatale Sanguli. Now, the district hospital there has had some challenges, as it's not too different in other parts of the country, but the staff are agitating and saying that they need things to be sorted out, at least to some basic level, to allow, you know, proper medical work to be able to go on. Let's take a look at this report. We'll come back and then we'll delve into some conversations as well.
Tatale Sanguli District is on the easternmost part of northern region. The district has a polyclinic to take care of the health needs of the people. Last week, Citi News cited a petition by the nurses at the Tatale District Polyclinic to the management to ensure that certain challenges are addressed to enable them work effectively. According to the nurses, the facility lacks basic resources, a situation that negatively impacts on the health of the citizens in the area. Following this complaint, Citi News visited the hospital to actually assess the situation. From outside, one may think the mention of a hospital, the facility is something huge, but at the site, the hospital appears or looks like a chief's compound. Citi News first contacted management of the hospital to seek their views on the challenges. Management declined to speak to Citi News. At the Joint Emergency and General Ward, basic items like gloves, cotton, and emergency drugs are unavailable, and nurses here say management is aware of the situation. At the outpatient department, OPD, the situation is not different. The BP apparatus, dressing instruments, minor stitches, gloves, and night prescriber are all not available. Reports were that the hospital did not have anesthesia machine, which is required during surgery. Citi News checks revealed that it is true. The anesthetic machine at the theater, according to the anesthetist, is not working. Also, the suction machine and sterilization machine are all broken down, and there are only 2 CS at the theater. Citi News checks at the maternity ward revealed a terrible state. The ward has only 1 delivery bed, no autograph sterilization, the oxygen cylinders are empty. Marked sofa for the management of pre-eclampsia and eclampsia are unavailable. The ward is also understaffed as there are only 2 midwives and 2 enrolled nurses. There is always 1 nurse on duty at the maternity ward. The Member of Parliament for Tatale Sanguli, who doubles as the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, Thomas Mbomba, about 2 months ago, commissioned a maternity block. Citi News checks at the block revealed that there is not even a single chair at the block, and the block is left unused. Another major challenge of the hospital, patients say, is lack of medication. Clients told Citi News that when they visit the hospital, they are not issued medicine. Citi News checks at the pharmacy saw very few medicines in the shelves, and the attendant confirmed that that is all they have at the hospital. Some clients who visited the hospital have been sharing their frustrations with Citi News.
In fact, our hospital here, we are facing a lot of problems there. Even last week, I sent my doctor there, even para, for them to even give her para. They wrote it for me to come and buy it in town. In fact, we have a lot of challenges in our hospital there.
I think the main challenge we have is the medication or the drugs. Because anytime you go there, they will tell you there are no drugs, nothing to give the patients. So it's at least, I think it even discourages everybody to go there. So when there is a patient or somebody falls sick, they rather prefer to go to the drugstore and get some drugs and all that. And that case, I think it brings more cases because you will not have any test, you will not run any test, and you just go and buy drugs. But because of the way the hospital, the facility has not been able to deliver or give the patients the drugs, That is what is also demoralizing them.
They are therefore calling on the government to, as a matter of urgency, address the challenges of the Tatale Polyclinic.
If government can step in to help the people or to equip the hospital with all the facilities and then the drugs they need to be able to take good care of their patients, at least it will help the people here.
Another big challenge is the accommodation for staff. It's only the medical superintendent, the administrator, and the accountant who are accommodated at the hospital. All the nurses are renting in town. The anesthetist is one person who should be accommodated in the hospital because of emergencies, but he is staying far in town. The question is, if there is an emergency in the night which requires theater works, the anesthesia has to be called in. Looking at these challenges, residents and nurses are calling on the government and other benevolent NGOs and individuals to come to the aid of the Tatale Polyclinic. Meanwhile, the nurses are threatening to lay down their tools if the station does not improve.
All right, so that story there brought to us by Mohammed Alabira, and he's a Northern Regional correspondent. Now, the challenge is huge.
It is.
It seems like different levels, different layers, a lot of things going on there that we have to unpack. I see that we're very big on superstructures, but the details of how systems work, we always have challenges with them. You know, how is it that we are sending people to facilities without the equipment and the amenities that they need to be able to effectively discharge their duties? This is actually a problem, you know. And I'm sure this hospital is not the only one that's facing this kind of issue. You know, a few years ago, we were interviewing some doctors from Kolebu, and they were just talking about how you're on the ward, you go to work, but there's very little motivation. Not because they're looking for money. That's not the motivation they're talking about. The fact that when I need to do a simple procedure or a simple, you know, something, the things, the equipment, the you know, consumables that you need to do it, it's not there. And that's exactly, you know, so we're looking at in Tatale Sanguli, I don't know, you know, if we even have the right to complain, because look at what's happening in Accra, you know, in this kind of situation. But we do say that every part of the country is part of the nation, and everyone votes, and therefore every vote is important, which means those who carry the vote and do the voting are important by extension. Now, if they are as important as we claim that they are, why is it that this hospital has been left to become this dilapidated?
Exactly.
Why?
Why?
Why is it that it's been left to this point where now staff are agitating that they're going to strike, not because they're asking for more pay, not because the conditions of service are tougher than anywhere else that they've worked, but just because the equipment and the consumables that they need to use are just not available? Well, our colleague and correspondent, Mohammed Alabira, has joined us on the line. Mohammed, good morning.
Good morning, boss.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I am doing well.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Now, this hospital and the situation that we see there, you've covered quite a lot of stories on different hospitals in Ghana, in the northern parts of Ghana. Position this hospital in terms of some of the other hospitals that you've seen and covered. How bad is the situation?
Thank you, boss. Tatale Polyclinic, I'll call it that way. Because if we take a hospital, it's like something very huge. But this one, it was just about 5 or 6 different buildings put together there. So there is a polyclinic, and that is the inscription there too.
Okay.
So for me saying Tatale Hospital, well, it is also a hospital because that is the oldest hospital in the district, serving the whole community, and neighboring Togo. Your Tatale is very close to Togo, and Zabzugu, and then Saboba people.
Okay.
So communities that are in the Saboba district, they're close to Tatale, and communities in the Zabzugu district close to Tatale, they all go to the place for treatment. So that is how the place is.
I see. And so from what you saw there, it looks as though machines are broken down. There doesn't seem to be any kind of internally generated funds to buy basic consumables. How is the hospital even still open?
Yes, the Tatale Hospital is seriously challenged from my listening on the ground there, because what I saw was that seriously Tatale District, the challenge has to do, but I want to be very blunt here. The Tatale District, they don't know the last time they submitted their NHIA claim, health insurance claim. That is the information that I got. Because from what I was, there was a first doctor before Mr. Larry, and that from when he was leaving, he did not hand over all to him. As to what he left out or what he handed over to him, for that one I actually did not know. But for the health insurance claim, he claimed that he was not given all. So since he claimed, he has not submitted any claim to the authority for payment. So that is the challenge. And you know, this time internally, IGF is something that we can talk about. Because looking at the hospital, people prefer visiting other places too. So the internally generated fund for the hospital is not that much. So basic equipment like cotton is not there at the hospital. Yes, gloves, they are all not there. So, but what happened was that last week, Wednesday, the staff, you know, earlier the people were calling for a staff DEBA, where they should meet, where management should meet staff or the nurses there. So they actually met, and the management told them what the challenges were. So the main issue has to do with the theater. That there, the anesthetic machine is not working. Everything there is broken down. So there, the anesthesia says, or the staff at the theater says, for them, they can't do anything. Therefore, until that problem is fixed, they will not work. So for now, as we speak, the theater staff of Tatale Hospital, they are on strike. But the general management, the general staff, that is the nurses, they gave the management two weeks ultimatum to provide the basic material like cotton, syringes, and then gloves for them. If that is not done, in 2 weeks, the whole staff at the Tatale Hospital will join them on the strike.
So if, Arabia, right now, did you manage to speak to any of the authorities, either the hospital management or, you know, the local authorities, to find out if there's something that they have in the pipeline, that some works that they are trying to do for the hospital?
Yes. Another clarification that I got was that the hospital was put up by government, but the church, that is the Catholic Church, so they say they own it, and the staff there are government employees, that is the nurses there. It's government that is employed there. But initially, the church or the hospital is managed by the church, the Catholic Church in Yendi. So I tried making contact with them. And actually, the person that I contacted, he declined to speak to me on that.
All right.
And even staff, I called the management themselves. I called the medical soup over there on several times. He didn't pick my call. I called the administrator he said he can, that there is a line of this and that to speak to the medical director, the medical superintendent. I called him, he never answered my call. But the administrator also says he cannot speak to me on that. And then the accountant too. The management refused to talk to me on that.
All right. Mohammed, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. We appreciate your time, and it's a fantastic report. We will push as hard as we can from here to make sure that they get some respite. Yeah. Okay. And so I fully understand when the staff, anesthetists have gone already, nurses are threatening to go. It's going to go up with the ladder, you know. So when I hear stories like this, I can't. I believe in hard work. I believe in sacrifice, but there are some things that are just unacceptable.
How are they expected to work without? Yeah. How do you expect an anesthetist to do his or her job without anesthesia?
You don't have cotton wool, you don't have gloves. As basic as that.
Gloves.
Think about it, as basic as that.
Every worker in a medical facility needs gloves. Like, how are they supposed to work?
Yes, exactly.
It's inexcusable. And I'm sure we'll be told, you know, there's been budget restraints, they haven't gotten their subvention. But I mean, but at the cost of what, 15,000 people who rely on this facility to now have to do what? Find an alternative for their care. Where are they supposed to go when this is the only health facility in the whole district?
Yeah.
Even serving some parts of neighboring Togo. You know, that's how significant this facility is. Where are they supposed to go?
Yeah.
What is that pregnant woman supposed to do when she can't deliver naturally for whatever reason and she's supposed to have a cesarean section and there's no anesthesia?
Doesn't make any sense.
What is she supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, let's talk to the anesthetist for the Tatale Sanguli District Hospital, Combat Kombia Ndimbe. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Yes, this is Combat Kombia Ndimbe.
Yeah. So tell us, you're on strike at the moment, aren't you? All the anesthetists.
I can't hear you well.
I'm just asking to clarify. We understand that the anesthetists at the Tatale Sanguli Hospital are on strike.
Yes, I think it's not only the anesthetist. You know, it's a team. Yes, but actually the main problem is that the theater. Let me just start it from the genesis. If you look at the hospital, it was built as a polyclinic.
Yeah.
The theater we are operating currently is not a standard theater. Yes, just that by virtue of the location we find ourselves, there is no hospital nearby. So
okay. When you say
mostly our cases have to be referred to Tamale or Yendi.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so when you say, have to improvise to make sure that we save lives in the district there.
Sorry,
yes,
sorry, combat. When you say it's not a standard operating theater,
yes.
what do you mean? Give us a picture.
When I say it's not a standard operating theater, one, even the space itself is a factor.
Okay.
That is one. Then the other one is we don't have anesthesia machine. And you could imagine in this 21st century, you do surgeries without anesthesia machine.
Yeah.
In case your patient is into arrest, you don't even know what is happening.
Yeah.
Your patient develop problem and you want to give positive pressure, you cannot give. You see that. So it's not a standard theater like I said.
Yeah.
So we have actually been managing, most of our cases we do is just like CS that comes in emergency. So you look at referring to a nearby facility like Yendi or Tamale.
Yeah.
And you see the road too is not good. So referring the patient, sometimes it will delay. And you know, the more you delay, it can lead to something else. So sometimes we just risk by going to theater to give a regional anesthesia where we do the operation and the patient is awake. We don't put the patient to sleep. Yes, but some of the cases, when the patient comes with severe bleeding, you can't give those regional anesthesia apart from general anesthesia. So it makes it difficult. And when you do that, it means you, the anesthetist, will now turn yourself into a ventilator. You have to stand bagging throughout the case, then you finish, the patient is not waking up, you have to stand and be doing the work as a ventilator. Yes.
Wow.
So, which is very, very difficult to do.
Combian, give us a sense of what that is like when you say that the person is they need you have to act as a human ventilator. What would that be like? Is there
it's just an ambu bag.
Okay.
Yeah, that you now have to stand and be bagging. You know, you've intubated the patient.
Okay.
But the patient cannot breathe on himself, so you will have to now stand and be bagging to make sure you push oxygen into the patient lung.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is very difficult.
Wow.
If you look at the current anesthetic machines we have in the system, they are made to protect the patient.
Okay.
They are made in such a way that even if you, the anesthetist, is making a mistake, the machine will let you know what you are doing is wrong.
Oh, wow.
Or what you are doing, you are making a mistake. Then you quickly correct it. But you are just doing something blindly, meaning you are only using your eyes to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So I think we see that the problem is now like beyond the hospital management, and we are actually appealing to the general public, the government, to come to our aid. Tatale District is made up of human beings, not guinea pigs that we can see we are doing trial and errors in that facility.
Yeah.
So we are pleading that the general public, the government, and then the district assembly, the MP, to come to the aid of the hospital to support us get anesthetic vaccine to provide quality and safe anesthesia and surgical operations for their community.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Combian, thank you very much for speaking to us. You've been speaking with Combat.
You're welcome.
Combian. Yes.
Striking is not to refuse to work, but is to save our patients, because I've seen that we are risking people's lives.
Yeah.
So that is why we have to take this decision.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so he is an anesthetist with the Tatale Sanguli Hospital. Now, and the clarification he made there is that the reason for the strike is to bring awareness and some kind of advocacy to say, get us the things we need so that we ourselves are not a danger to the patients just because we're working blind and or having to do too many improvisations.
When he was describing how the anesthetists have to literally stand there and ventilate patients using an ambu, I'm like, is he describing something that happened in the 60s, 1960s?
I know, right? It sounds like something out of that era.
Like, it's like a movie you're watching, like from back in the day when, this is how we used to do it.
Yeah.
We've moved on.
We've moved on a long way.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
And this is why I think our doctors, our medical professionals are in high demand in other jurisdictions, because if they can perform under this kind of condition, you can perform anywhere. With better facilities, better equipment, cases where it's like a piece of cake because you've got all of the materials you need, as opposed to here where you've got to improvise to save someone's life.
Yeah.
It's
very unfortunate. I still can't get over the fact that I can't get over the fact that cotton wool and gloves. Oh man.
How do you perform surgery? And like you said, it's a makeshift theater, just so they can have life-saving intervention when they can't refer people to other facilities. So they're actually improvising just to save lives.
I mean, something as basic as an anesthetic machine is not there, right? So,
and they're still performing.
Yeah. We've been joined on the line by Kamal Dean Abubakari, and he is a unit committee chairman and in Tatale. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Bernard, and good morning to your panel.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, Kamaldeen, the situation in the Tatale Hospital has been described to us quite graphically by the anesthetist there. It doesn't look good. What are the plans that are afoot by the assembly to intervene so that your staff can come back to work?
Okay, for now, we are only dealing with management.
Okay.
Yes, we haven't yet gone to speak to the assembly people, but I think a month ago, the MP for the area, Honorable Thomas Mbomba, he came to commission a maternity block. But as we speak, even the keys inside, nobody knows where it is. Recently, one of the people from the assembly, I think he's the aide to the MP and the DC, he came around and our nurse manager took him to that block. The MP just came and commissioned an empty block, and I wonder how a new maternity block is built without even equipment or anything inside. And he just came and commissioned it that way and left. But regarding the issue of the theater, I think I personally engaged the MP on several occasions, and I mentioned to him, especially the anesthesia machine in our theater. I mentioned to him that we really need it urgently. Even before he became an MP, when he was DCE, I went to him and mentioned that to him. He wrote it and told me that he will do his best to make sure that we get it. And even the very day that the commission, he came to commission the new maternity block, one of the anesthetists took him to theater and opened and showed him the state of the theater. Yeah, he just saw it, and up to date we haven't heard anything. It's like the MP of the area hasn't prioritized the hospital.
Yeah.
Yes, but trust me, 2020 before election, he was always coming and donating one or two things, and a lot of people voted for him, thinking that when he gets there, his eyes will be on the facility so that he can help to, even bring more infrastructure and equipment and what have you. But anytime we call on him, either he's traveling or he's just on his way to travel outside of Ghana. Currently, he's the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Oh, okay.
So he's always a busy man. Yes, he doesn't have, he hasn't done anything for the facility as we speak.
And this is the MP you are referring to, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, what about your DCE?
Yeah, like I said, for the DCE, we haven't engaged him yet. But
Okay.
the very day that the MP came to commission the building, he was there, and he donated some two motor Kia kind of ambulance.
Okay.
We don't even need that. Yes, we really need things, because as we speak, those two things they are there. I think the chief compound or health centers within the sub-district, they need those things.
Yeah.
What we need, especially the theater, we need anesthesia monitoring machine, we need autoclave machine, because the one we use in sterilizing our equipment and consumables for work is broken down. Yeah. So we have to take those things to health center and sterilize it and bring it back to the facility to work. We don't also have oxygen concentrator.
Okay.
And it's worrying. People come with asthmatic condition, and you know, I can't really tell you exactly like what happened, but it's affecting the people, and it's affecting our work as well.
So can you sort of give me a sense? I'm trying to understand your role in the hospital. Unit committee chairman, exactly what is that role and what's the function?
Yes, okay. What happened is the hospital formed this group, this committee. Yeah, the units are the ward in charge. Okay. We have male ward, we have emergency ward, pediatric ward, maternity ward. What do we call it? We also pharmacy people are there. Stores are there. So the head of these departments. Yeah, I am the chairman. For the head. So we have our monthly meetings. Then whatever what do we call it? Issues that we have. Then I would have to sit with management as the chairman. Yeah, to inform management to see the way forward.
And as far as your conversation with management is concerned, what's management's position in terms of solving or bringing some respite to the situation? What's management saying?
So last week, Wednesday, we had our staff deba. Yes, so and before the staff deba, management met with the unit heads. And trust me, there wasn't anything convincing management gave to us.
Wow.
And they didn't get it easy from our side because we are representing the entire nursing body. Yes. So regarding these equipment, the anesthesia monitoring machine and those other things, management told us that these are capital intensive equipment. So from their side, it will be very hard. So management was now throwing it at us that if whatever means that we can, maybe we know some corporate organizations or individuals who can afford to get this equipment. So I told them that fine, these things should have happened earlier. Because it's like management, you only discuss things like this among yourself, and at the end of the day, no solution is coming. And I as well advise them that they should always set their priorities right, because we can't lack these kind of equipment, and the hospital will have to go and buy high-pitched brand new pickup. We don't need it. We need things that will make our work go easy for us. Yes. So this was what happened.
Thank you so much.
From there, we moved to the staff deba. And what we were saying is that the current doctor, our medical suit, he's currently he's in school in Tamale. So we asked that to make the work go, he has to officially hand over the facility to the administrator. Because the administrator, he is always around. Because you, doctor, you are not around, you still want to manage a facility, it will not work. And we also told management that the accountant has to he has to account for us, because from their side they said health insurance only paid them 7 months 2021. Yes, up to date, they haven't received anything from health insurance. And we asked why. They said, actually, for a fact, when the then medical suit, when he was leaving, the handing over was kind of a rush to this our current medical suit. And regarding the side of the health insurance, it wasn't even handed over to him.
Wow.
Yes. So I said, Doctor, but you can't just take over like that. You should have made sure that you hand over everything fully. Yeah. So when later he realized that the health insurance credentials had expired. So as we speak, this is what they are working on now.
Okay.
And according to the medical suit, he said they are about 90% true with the health insurance credentials. So maybe anytime soon, those claims that are being submitted to health insurance will get the money for the hospital. Yeah.
All right. Mohammed, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. That's
thank you very much.
Kamal Dean, who is with he's a unit committee chairman at the hospital, and the challenges that they've been having, he's been sharing with us. Well, we do believe that the DCE, regional minister, the Ghana Medical Association, Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, everybody needs to back up, you know, and make sure that this situation is resolved ASAP. All right, it cannot be that a part of our country is in this kind of situation. It must not be.
It's just tragic.
It must not be.
Disturbing.